Cooking with Beelzebub is taped in front of a live studio audience. Welcome to Cooking with Beelzebub. I'm your host, the King of Darkness, Beelzebub. Today, we will be making these scrumptious gorditas. We're going to start with your choice of protein, and the most important part, the shell. The shell can make or break your recipe. I mean, look at these gorditas we prepared. These gorditas right now look delicious as... Oh, can we say that on the air?
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Sundaze with the Clink Room. We are joined by my good friend Kurt Wasemiller. Kurt Player. How you doing?
Leon, yeah. Player 2.
Yes, sir. It's been a minute. Recent Clink Room fans might not know you, but you kind of go way back with the Clink Room 2.0. You had 3 amazing hits, and I saw you comment on one of the posts and saying that you're getting motivated a little bit with the Clink Room stuff. So I hit you up right away, and kudos to you. You agreed to come on, so I mean, it's your turn, buddy. So what's been going on in your life? I feel like we haven't.
Just had a birthday yesterday, which also means my daughter's birthday is coming up. We're a month apart. Yeah, so she'll be 4. But yeah, just working, man. Getting into some musician clients. Still doing some illustration work. Mascots, branding, things like that. So
yeah,
I try to stay busy in that world, and seems to be working out so far.
That's awesome. Yeah, I see some of your work with the team branding and the player branding stuff, and that stuff's awesome. So we'll kind of get into that a little bit more further down. But let's give people kind of like a breakdown of who you are and what kind of got you started as an artist and illustrator.
Yeah, I mean, I've always been geared toward, drawing, and, I just got a real big kick out of seeing my mom, draw things that I couldn't draw. And I guess that, motivated me to be able to do it myself instead of having to ask her. But yeah, I took long trips as a kid, going to my grandparents, driving 8 hours, still in the state of Texas. But that was a time when, I had plenty of sports cards to keep me busy, and kind of got sucked into, how logos looked, color usage, and, maybe a little accidental color theory there, in my very immature age. But just, really being struck with like the Vancouver Grizzlies and Toronto Raptors, who had, just emerged as expansion teams, and just being like, having this unexplained feeling of, kind of camaraderie, or, some baked in fandom just by looking at the logo, or seeing a success of the logo, and getting, a positive feeling off of it. So just being the people pleaser I am, I thought, what's better to, serve this creative side of me, and, maybe have that same effect on other people, to, have my work, kind of give them, pause, with a positive thought, or, seeing something funny, or connecting with it in some sort of way, or, finding that hidden message without having to be told, or, just, really digesting, something like that on a more granular scale.
Yeah.
But then, seeing the simplistic approach of, how the logo ends up, but finding all that context, that I really, really got into that, and character building and character design and research. And so that really led me past some print design, which I had initially done when I started out my career. And then moving overseas kind of, put that fire under me to, really seek out, some projects that I wanted to take on, or that I kind of had as goals or dreams to take on.
Right.
And So 6-7 years later, I've had several hats. I've done team branding, uniforms, and I mean pretty much holistically, everything from colors and mascots and names and things like that. This is one that I've done for the London Capitals. Much more simplistic approach here.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just really like the end result and just seeing my work, done with the assistance of plenty of other people like New Era and some other designers, people like you that are just rabid fans that expose hats and concepts that I wouldn't even think of, and that helps me to build off of that. So
Great.
yes, you had me inspired the other day.
That's awesome.
That was I love that. I just love that character and that hat and the two-tone and how that color comes together. It's just fantastic. But
yeah, that was a great drop in the Clink Room. And for those who don't know, the post that we're talking about, it's the Tokyo post. But kind of take it back to like logo design and fandom. You'd mentioned like the Raptors and the Grizzlies, and it's such an interesting thing because at the time you get drawn in just as a kid, like, hey, they look cool, like those logos are just menacing, whether it's like the Vancouver Grizzly or the Toronto Raptor. But as you get older, you find out a lot of like the little Easter eggs, like maybe as a kid you don't realize that there are actually grizzly bears in the Rocky Mountains in Vancouver, or the original Raptor was supposed to be neon green, but then the commissioner pushed for it to be red, so they kind of united the country because that's Canada's colors, and like just small little tidbits that you don't like learn at the time, but you figure out later, like holy shit, like that was in front of me the whole time, like that was the reason
even the piping, that design, and I'm not an expert, or but I found it, much like you were saying, those are kind of little I guess native symbols that go around the jersey, for the Grizzlies. Yeah, that like in the those original ones. But yeah, those just those little things of like everything considered. The design isn't just kind of washed over broadly. It's we go through and match it up and have something that's culturally and regionally relevant. That's a huge gateway into me really attaching I guess a lot of like commonality of what I would like to do with a design, and seeing what Casey has done with Brandiose and Clink Room, and yeah, just finding a great appreciation for that, and seeing do it so successfully is just like, yeah, very inspiring and exciting, very exciting.
Yeah, listening to him kind of tackle or see his approach with Jason, and just kind of really getting in there and learning about like a city's history and finding out like, hey, what do they eat, or what are they known for, or what are the people, what represents the people, what represents the town. There's so many little things when it goes into like the branding of a team that people don't really think about, and that's cool that you can kind of break it down and kind of nerd out about that stuff. So I love that stuff.
Yeah, for sure. It's the best way to cash in on your ideas too. Putting some intention and personal message to your design, and not just design for the sake of design. I think that's really important.
Exactly. What are some of the original things that kind of initially drew you into wanting to submit with the Clink Room? Because you had that legendary design that it's like it captures such a funny moment in sports, because it's like it's such a like a mixture of like what you want to happen and then kind of your worst nightmare. Like I'm talking about getting your beer ruined at a game, which probably overpriced or whatever, but you're dreaming for that ball to come, and then the worst thing can happen, it lands in your beer. Like what kind of made you want, like even think of that?
Yeah, I mean, basically, so I pretty much had missed somehow, after being such a fan, I had somehow missed Clink Room 1.0. And so when 2.0 came around, it was, a couple rounds of me trying to come up with a concept. And, that was around COVID time. And I was doing some, very infrequent work for Barstool. And just, was trying to find space to fill in that kind of creative world. And yeah, the first one I came up with was this pickleball idea, and it was a pickle, kind of had some straps coming off of it, and it was swinging into a baseball, like right in its eye, and had some brine like squirting out. I mean, it was way too detailed. It was a really cool idea, but it was way too detailed. So back to the drawing board, and yeah, I just it's that thing that you seem to catch on Sports Center, but like never see in person. I mean, there are even times, the most famous ones is when no one's paying attention. The beer is like in the person's hand, and then the ball just unbeknownst to them like falls in the cup, and then you gotta chug it down, which is another one of my favorite parts of that spectacle. Everyone cheering you on for happenstance and luck coming your way. But yeah, that it just to me it just was one of those moments where like it really grabs the attention in a sport that is you're easily distracted by concessions or maybe just the conversation next to you. Baseball games are rarely fully focused like like a tennis match or something like that. So yeah, it just struck me as like, man, this is the perfect idea. And having been pretty junior into the whole concept of design with embroidery in mind, yeah, I don't think too much changed except for I think some coloring or maybe some minimal details on there. And so yeah, I get a pretty big kick out of that because they do a great job of reforming some of the submissions and really giving it that like Clink Room touch that they're very well known for. So yeah, I don't know, man, I love that concept.
Yeah.
And they built off of it. You say I have 3 hats. Technically, I only have one with that Beer Bombers, but my the Space Cowboys, that was finished out. Both of them, the '50s Beer Bomber and the Space Cowboy, was done by Jason Belanti, who's incredible. I love his work, and he's just to me the quiet hero of Clink Room because I believe he does work for their studio as well, Grandiose. But yeah.
So your Space
That's
Cowboys,
it.
I think originally, so I ended up having like a bull like Comet. I think your original one, he was just riding a regular like rock, right? That kind of changed.
Yeah. It was kind of shaped properly, but it didn't have the characteristics of a bull, like a hat in its final stage, which looks incredible. I mean, I had I don't know, I guess I had the idea of doing like an orange spacesuit, like the spacewalk spacesuit, like kind of from I guess that classic era of astronomy. But yeah, they absolutely killed it because it was fun. What it ended up being is what I was trying to go for. And
yeah, what's interesting about that is that you kind of beat the Sugarland Space Cowboys to the punch with that one.
Know.
And then now, if you were to retro your old design, you might even have to be forced to change your name, which is insane. But yeah, that one's cool. You kind of cited your
just like have them as like an alt cap or something. I think that would be perfect.
That one ended up doing well. And then you mentioned the third one, which is kind of like a part 2 of your first one, which is like just having the the bomber side of it, just the beer, kind
Yeah,
of
talk about
worship.
Easter eggs. Yeah, the plane is a bottle, and I mean, I don't have it in front. I think, yeah, it's got like the bottle cap on the front. I mean, it's
Mhm.
just brilliant touches of, obvious, once you see it, you're like, oh yeah, of course. But finding your way to, having that, kind of be an underlying thing where, it looks like the whole, but once you start to look at the pieces, you see, how it's actually put together with,
Yeah,
you know, just great imagination. Love it.
yeah. Even like the simple aspect of like the blue matching the blue of the crown, and then it having less like kind of beer color up top because it's meant to be in the sky. Like just small stuff like that makes it so awesome. Um,
Yeah.
for you though, so you're based out of Chicago. Like how does your
Yes.
environment kind of influence your creative output?
Um, yeah, I mean, I really love the vibe of the city. Everyone who's been to Chicago, whether you notice it or not, you can be, staring at skyscrapers in about 20 minutes, and then I can be, in my own home, nice and quiet, neighborhoody feel, and the same amount of time. And I mean, you can find what you're looking for, I guess, as a scene or an atmosphere. I mean, you've got the lake with cresting waves, so you have very beach-like feel. There's huge tennis and soccer culture here. I mean, it's a very lively city. Biking down Lake Michigan, north and south. I mean, it's just something you got to do. Um, but yeah, this city just seems to kind of vibrate in such a way that it's felt like home since day one. So it's not too hard to be inspired because yeah, I mean, the city just hits all the right notes: food, music, culture, sports. Uh, yeah, I mean, it's got everything, good and bad. Which yeah, I mean, I couldn't ask for anything more.
Mhm.
We love Chicago here. So
That's awesome. What types of challenges could you like incur when you're translating like specific ideas into visual concepts, and kind of what's your method to kind of overcome that?
yeah, I think my not being too derivative is
Hmm.
my biggest fear. Um, I appreciate so much of what I see, and having that inspiration, trying to apply it. Sometimes it can be kind of hard to just put your own, flag on, stamp your own flag down, and say, yeah, this is where I'm going with it, without that context kind of overriding, your perceived uniqueness of your projects. And yeah, I think a good way to do that is I try to not I try to use the context that's already in my head, and when I start out, I don't look at anything, and then
Yeah,
I'll you know, pump everything out from sketches and, just loose ideas, and, everything just staying, very fluid and loose, and just kind of stream of consciousness. That helps. I mean, that's very idealistic.
yeah,
And working at home, it can be, kind of hard to uh, s- stick out of your comforts and, really plug in like that. But yeah, that's the biggest thing for me is just coming from like a place of I guess a genuine place, instead of trying to follow a trend too much.
yeah,
Still appreciating the efforts and the end result of that. But yeah, trying to not be derivative, which is easy in the hack game. I guess you got someone to tell you whether legal likes it or not. So
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's always uh, well, I mean, for me, like looking from far, sometimes it's tough. Like even like when you're doing like voting, um, you take like the Monday Morning Critz as an example, or even I'm involved with this contest called Who's the Hat God. So you get people,
Mm.
you get the fan interaction of voting. Yes, no, would you pre-order? Yes, no. But then the real voting counts when the pre-orders go up. So sometimes those two
Yeah,
things are tied together, and sometimes they're not.
that's true.
It's really interesting to kind of like notice the difference. Sometimes something will vote real well but doesn't sell real well, or vice versa. So it's kind of really
Yeah,
fun.
it's
That
interesting
balance to me.
that yeah, it seems to be up for debate. Yeah, on that initial interest, and like, is that going to pay off?
Mhm.
Um, yeah, depending. I mean, especially if, and I mean, I don't know if it's a real concern, or I don't see it commented on too much about changing colors or whatnot. But it's
Yeah,
with respect to Clink Room, I suppose. But yeah,
yeah. I mean, it's tough because it's one of those things that you almost like you can't please everyone. Like sometimes the people that
of
like the
course.
original one and are going to complain you change the color, or people that didn't like, like there's always that back and forth and trying to find that medium. And I think they do a good job in the sense of having something come out and then potentially having it come out in other fresh colorways later. So that's a
Yeah,
cool um, kind of happy medium, I believe. But in terms of
yeah, you found it. Yeah.
yeah, in terms of your work, though, are there any particular themes or motifs that appear consistently throughout your work that you can think of?
Um, um, yeah, I just like to push for like the toughest subject matter, I possibly can.
Yeah.
Uh, if from, especially an initial, concept standpoint, like how I came up with this guy, was thinking about, within respect to uh, where they play in London. It's a mostly a baseball diamond. It's a like a double diamond, basically is
Right.
what it is. But English people play football, not American football, which would probably like stamp up the infield and the outfield just as much. But so there was an idea of a turf monster, and then that kind of bred into me, this concept of, what would that look like? And so, yeah, I mean, there's just a little peek behind the curtain of what I'm wearing in my head. But that's a good example of, kind of how I stick with like kind of a funny or weird idea and don't want to let go of it. And I think that creativity in that idea building, uh, you know, you gotta, I don't know, I can never give up on those ideas unless they, and ultimately get rejected. uh, but if it's up to me, I get to pick what I want, which is
For
why we
sure.
have this. So
Exactly.
yeah, I really like to push. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right. Well, thank you for doing that part of the show. Now we'll kind of cover the week's happenings. So Clink had a huge Deadstock
Let's see
drop.
it.
So though, for those who don't know,
How do you go?
6 hats go into pre-order every single week. Those will get put into production and sent off to um, the people who order them. And there's a limited number that they order now. They kind of bake in some errors. So before they would just order whatever was pre-ordered. So if anything got lost in transit or damaged or shorted or
Gotcha.
something that wasn't um, able to be shipped, the person who waited was kind of SOL. So now they've built in this kind of buffer, and then after a couple of months after everything's shipped from the pre-order, they do these like drops called dead stock drops. So it's basically not really leftovers, but anything that they haven't had to resend out, or sizing issues, or stuff like that. So some
Yeah.
hats will load up with like a full size run, or some of them will just load up with a couple sizes. So I've kind of picked a couple to kind of highlight in the dead stock drop. So let's take a look.
Cool. All right. me get real close here.
Sure. So we got Last Roar, Blaze, Doubleheader, and Daisy Cutters. Do you have any initial thoughts on these 4?
They're all so good. I love the Last Roar. That two-tone. I'm so scared to do a two-tone, and obviously, this is way further down the line. Was this a different design on not a two-tone?
No, so this is the original, I believe.
This is the original. Yeah.
This is the original leftovers. Yeah. These are all like kind of like.
Oh man, that's so sweet, and I love kind of the. I'm wondering if that is like a Tampa Bay Rays kind of nod with that double header. But again,
I'm not even sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's just an interesting idea that I had. But I love how that concept comes together.
Yeah.
And then of course Daisy Cutters. I'm a sucker for that old school, because that looks like some like early Disney feel to it. Just that old school look with very simple line work, but very menacing. And like that would scare me as a kid. So it's doing the job. But man, I love how that propeller comes out too. That how the stitching gives that look for the motion blur. Whew, man, yeah, those are really nice. And I like the Blaze one. It doesn't quite hit it for me like the others do. You've got the symmetry. I guess maybe I'm a sucker for symmetry and like old school art feel. So, but yeah, I mean, I love that color on Blaze, but the other 3, kind of, I guess, personally hit those marks for me.
Yeah, this is a good grouping, man. Like the thing you said about the Rays things, now it's making my mind kind of race a little bit. I didn't even pick that up on the first time. But yeah,
I mean, yeah, maybe that'll help some hats fly off. I mean, they are Deadstock after all.
Yeah. It's kind of almost like you mentioned symmetry, but it's almost like a yin yang of the day night double header. Just in baseball having it kind of transition from the Rays to the Stars. There's just so much to that logo, and Kyle nailed it. And you mentioned Daisy Cutters. Yeah, it's just so much personality in that, in that logo. And you didn't need to add any crazy, speed lines or clouds whooshing. It's just a simple pushing back of the pedals makes it seem like he's going so fast.
Yeah.
And,
also, we got to mention the eye black on the day side.
Oh yeah,
that's
a little Easter egg. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, we've been talking about Easter eggs. I love that stuff.
Mm-hmm. And then Last Roars, those are some clinkers out of Indonesia. So that's their.
Oh my god, it's so incredible. I mean, and it's very tattoo style, which is incredible to see that done in a very almost distinct and just undeniable way, that it's like, oh yeah, that you could get that tattooed immediately just out how it is. Yeah. I really like that a lot.
And then Blaze is almost like that exact moment that you could picture one of those like lions in a circus hopping through, those rings of fire, just ready to get his revenge on the trainers or something. Like that one's a cool hat for sure. But all right, let's see what else we got here. So we got China Shop, Bitter Brew, Death Dealer, and the Geishas. What sticks out to you initially on these 4 designs?
That China Shop is pretty incredible.
Yeah.
That shatter effect. And it looks like there's maybe some like some kind of tonal white stitching that kind of raises it up a little bit, maybe with some like motion lines. Yeah, that's incredible. Because that's, these are the kind of hats that are, you could detail them to absolute death and think, I can't possibly lose, any of this detail. But just that balance there is amazing. I love the geisha's colors. The colors are, is that like a smoky gray, or is that almost like a icy, like gray blue as the crown?
I think he used a different type of gray. I don't think that's just the atypical gray.
Like a
Like almost
shark
like a
skin
dolphin,
kind
like
of.
a dolphin
Yeah.
gray. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, dolphin. Maybe that's the one. Yeah, I really like that. And then just having it kept as like a black outline, and then using the brighter tones as like color filling in. So I love to put double outlines on mine, as you can see,
Mhm.
with a big fat white outline, just to have everything very uh,
Like
visible.
held
But
in.
yeah, I
Yeah,
really like how that was done. Yeah, because you can see every part of it. It doesn't look, the one of the toughest things about this is the perspective of, how the figure walks or is, heading in whatever direction, and how the hips are, and, shoulders, and like what that does to the feet. And yeah, this is really nice.
yeah. I love the thing that they
Uh,
did with the China shop. Almost like it's like embroidered, like it's like the plate, like the ink on the plate. Like they killed that one.
hmm Yeah. What do they call that? Delt. It's like a style. I don't know. You see it all over Portugal. Um,
Okay.
that that kind of glazed plate style, or ceramic style. Yeah. But
I'm a
bitter
sucker
brew,
for first.
that's really
Okay.
cool. That's reminds me of a design that is still kind of baking, that style and I had kind of come up, or he had mostly come up with, and I'm still, I don't know, it's been, sorry style, whenever you see this, it's been like over a year that I've kind of been like, yeah, man, I like this idea. And it just is kind of like in a stage of development. But yeah, I really like how the skull comes out. Um, I'm not. I mean, I love the art. The name doesn't quite hit for me, like where like bitter comes into it, but it's,
Yeah,
you know it's the connotation of, the name, the skull, like what fits, and I get that.
for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I like Death Deal. I mean, it's just not a style of like what I would wear, but very much in the same vein of this geishas. And I mean, China Shop is just kind of on a different level of balancing detail and context. But this one is, it's got, the jagged scythe, and, the imposing, it's got the right perspective, and, the hand and the card coming in. Like, I
Yeah,
really
the death
like that,
card. Yeah,
action of it. The subject matter, I don't know. It's not a hat I would personally wear.
fair enough.
But man, I love all of his stuff, and he has had, man, how long has he been with Clink Room? I know it seems like forever,
It's
but
been
I know
years.
it
Yeah,
hasn't been. It's always cool to see, some of these guys come in and just erupt with stuff for Clink Room, and it's really cool. So he's
yeah,
doing it.
yeah. It's got to be at least 3 years for Vols. I'm a sucker for
Yeah,
Reapers, so I'm all in on that one for sure.
yeah.
Um, but,
I know.
all right,
Yeah, I know that.
let's move on real quick. Let's see what else we got here. So California Love, Out of This World, the Mothman X-ray version, and then Tree of Death.
Mm.
Uh, I don't know what piques your interest here.
Um, Ever since I saw that California Love, and Aurelian is, I mean, that guy is an absolute, top tier for me, guys that you can be lucky enough to buy hats from Clink Room. I mean, that, again, the detail on there, save for, actual detail. It's just, I love that. And the hard hands from the bear. I mean, that would probably be the most difficult part for me. And how they pull it off is just incredible. Yeah, it's so nice. Because there's so much that you could just sink in there, not have raised up. And I mean, it's just, yeah. I've found a deep appreciation for embroidery design and the things you can do, and just how people approach it and, end up with something like that is just amazing to me.
Competition.
Tree of Death.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say the composition of California Love is so good. How like the bear eats up the foreground,
Yeah.
and then the
He's kind of
background
at the
is
side,
sticking out a little bit of
Mhm.
the circle, and then you got the little Easter eggs of like the flag is a little bit there. The bears
Yeah.
is the national or the state animal. A little bit of gold and redwoods, and I don't know, there's so much to it. Like everything in it
The
belongs
sunglasses.
there for some
Yeah.
reason. Yeah, the sunglasses and the bread, and that is just an elite design. And that one, that concept has kind of spawned other like um, versions with, I think, like there's like a
Yeah.
Florida one and Hawaii one potentially, and yeah, just an awesome concept that you can just apply to so many different states and places. It's just cool.
Yeah. I think that's one of the coolest things, is to see, an idea that, you just can't help it. You bridge it into other concepts.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know about the X-ray. I like the idea and the concept. I don't know. I'm not like a turquoise. I don't know. Yeah, I don't hate it. I wouldn't personally
It's
buy
like
it.
a it's like a glow in the light type of design, and I think
Mm,
it still does glow in the dark, but
yeah,
it's kind of a I'm a nerd about like the bones and stuff, so I like how it kind of like it's
gotcha.
like the anatomy of it is cool, and the Tree of
Oh
Death is
yeah.
a playoff of his like award-winning a Tree of Life design. So when that one glows in the dark, I think it forms a skull. So that one's so badass.
Oh
Me love.
yeah, I can see it. Yep, and I remember now. Yeah, I mean that was going to be my next one. That is just, I mean, it's absolutely intimidating thinking about designing that and saying, "Hey, can you embroider this?" I mean,
Yeah,
I can't believe that it is what it is. It's just so incredible.
yeah. Then
Because yeah, you can, from a distance, you can, pick out that skull,
yeah,
and then having that extra level of the glow in the dark. Or
kills it.
is it glow in the does it glow?
I believe when it glows, it forms the skull. So certain parts of it
Yeah,
disappear and make it more obvious to be a skull. Because his original one is a tree, and then the life part. So it's Tree of Life and Tree of Death. So the life part was the phoenix rising, and then it's the Tree of
yeah.
Death with the skull being hidden in the tree. So two awesome
I mean,
plays.
I'm surprised it's still available as
It
a
might
dead
not
stock.
be at time of recording. So
Yeah,
this is what dropped as extras. So we'll see
good point.
in the
But
comments.
yeah,
I'm
I
sure
love
we
that
can.
color too.
Yeah.
That and it's not black, which is great.
Hmm.
Uh, but it's a less saturated kind of army green.
Kind of like a rifle or like a I don't even know.
Yeah,
It's like a cool color for sure.
I
All
bet.
right.
I wonder what that under is. Probably just gray, maybe.
Hey, gray or Kelly green.
Hopefully.
I don't remember. exactly.
Oh man, if it's Kelly green, wow.
Yeah. All right, let's see what else we got here. I know there's a bunch we picked up. First Robin, Rampage, R.I.P. and Hawaiian Ice. Any thoughts here on these ones?
I'm a sucker for a swinging mascot. That's
Yeah.
for damn sure. That Hawaiian Ice is incredible. That's another one of, the back end work that you do to, having that raised spoon, with the ridges, and I mean that's just, it's so nice. And having I love those little things of the line work, that borderline working into, some sort of motion element,
Yeah.
with some little ice chips and some motion lines with the backswing. Yeah, it's just amazing. And I love the hat color choice too. You could go, any number of ways, but that's a nice color to settle on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For
It's got
sure.
a red under.
It's kind of like a beetroot color, like that fruit punchy kind of color.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Um,
Oh, okay. Nice.
yeah, and I think First Robin is like is J Matt's, and that's just him just making a cool design and having
Yeah.
the First Robin show out of the winter. And he's kind of just waiting for it to end. So it's funny, like we're in that time period now where it's like just it could go back colder, and it could be really warm, and this
Mm-hmm.
week was super warm, and
But it's a nice. I mean, yeah, I love Jay's stuff. I think I have one of his. I'm pretty sure one of his Clink hats. I'm trying to remember. Um,
if it's
yeah,
an early one,
I
it's
think
probably
I don't
Red
know.
Wing Blackbird. If it's an early one, he showed
No.
off his tree skills with that
Ooh,
for sure.
that one. That was like kind of the first one of like, oh, you can do that. It was like a
Yeah,
very flat, on paper, it's very flat design, and how they did it. And then, I mean, they proved it with Vandals, once again, of like, it's just, you can do so much more than you think. But yeah, that design's incredible. And that's not easy to do, uh, to get those. I mean, what is it? Two browns that are in that bird coloring, and getting all that depth, and how do I use these lines? That's just, that takes a lot of time. Because even as a little small on my computer,
yeah.
you can still pick out plenty of it, but you can see how delicate it is.
Hmm.
Um, that Rampage one, I'm not too familiar with. Uh, I wonder if is it Milos or Milo?
Yeah,
Milo.
Milos.
Milo.
Yeah. Sure.
Milos.
Milos.
I
From
love
Serbia.
a good mirror, just
Yeah.
straight mirrored, well balanced, symmetrical. Love it. And that color, I mean, yeah, the highlighting and the stitching detail on that for like the furrowed brow in the middle and the horns. I mean, you'd be doing it a disservice, I guess, if you didn't, put that much in intention to, some of the raised parts of the embroidery. But I mean, it just, you love to see it. It's so nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, RIP, or I don't know. Maybe I'm not like a Bones guy, man.
You're not into
You're
the
the
death stuff.
guy, and yeah. Um, I love it though. I think it's really cool. I'd wear it as a T-shirt for sure.
Yeah.
Maybe not
It's
as
like
a
that
hat,
kind of
and maybe
80s style kind of
yeah,
surf
definitely.
skateboard kind of vibe, and his headstone is a skateboard, which is cool too. And
That's so cool.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm into Rampage a
Oh, I can
lot.
see it a little bit better now. Okay. What's the little? Is that like? Oh, it's a turned over skateboard in front of them. Gotcha.
Yeah, yeah,
Cool.
yeah.
Yeah, that's really
Rampage
nice.
is so good too.
And
That could be like,
I like how the highlight goes around the top mostly,
yeah.
because it doesn't go around the bottom, right?
No, not at all.
Yeah.
That's like the
Oh, that's
moonlight.
so
It's like
cool.
advanced lighting. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. I see. I can still appreciate it.
for
I
sure.
think that's pretty obvious. Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, I think Rampage works well too. That could be like an esports logo. It could be like an emblem for
totally.
a bar. It could be a college logo like that. Milos nailed that one.
Yeah, it has that like updated college logo feel. Colorado State. I mean, that
Yeah,
would look awesome. Just as like a big old, hoodie chest piece right there.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's very cool. I like that a
All right.
lot.
All right, now let's get into the fresh, no, the last calls. So these 6 designs are up for pre-order and will be ending tonight at midnight. So we have Palm Breeze, Classic Panther, and the Polar Bear. What do you think?
Speaking of tattoo style,
yeah,
that panther is incredible. I guess I've been gone too long. I'm trying to remember when they started putting side patches on some of these hats because I love it.
so it's more of a
That's
recent
really,
thing. Yeah,
yeah,
within the last couple months. So not every hat gets it. So you kind of have to either earn it or some hats even get specific ones designed for them as well. So
yeah,
it's
true.
relatively new.
Because I have noticed. I'm like, how does that shake out? Like, where do
Yeah.
the? But I guess you're saying like as in the designer gets a couple of hats and then they'll
No, so they have like a couple like
saying as far as earning it.
they have a couple like um so they'll have a few that are kind of built in to the rotation, and if it fits the theme they'll
Right.
use it. But then there's other ones that they'll just add if they feel they need to do it. And then there's even like last week they did a 4 horsemen drop, and then they made a new patch just for that drop, and all the hats had it.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So they're just kind of going with it. I think they don't want the patch to overpower the design sometimes, and they want to use it, um, sparingly. I think to
Yeah.
kind of see.
I think that's smart.
But I think if it helps the story, I don't mind them. I don't necessarily feel like it's always needed, but like for this one right here, Polar Bear, it fits the theme. It's not like it's random.
Yeah, and I really like what it brings to the overall design, having the front
Yeah.
be so bright, and then that gives it a little bit of weight. Totally matches the visor too,
Yeah.
which helps ground it. Or I mean, it doesn't need grounding. It looks nice. It looks very nice. A piece to the part. I like it.
Yeah. That Palm Breeze kind of pulls on that that colorway we saw with
that's so classic.
Yeah.
That's so classic. Win, and please never stop. Win.
Yeah,
we need these. Oh my god, it's every. I'm like, it's that perfect tone of finding something that you can build off of, and that concept, and regionalize something, and it's great. So in such a good flow. I love every time seeing these hats. It's a really, really nice style.
For sure. All right, let's see what else is up for pre-order. There's 3 more. So Tidal Roar, Bok Choy,
So cool.
and Blackbirds University. Man, this is a strong trio right here.
Yeah, Phil is, again, that is like such a Phil mascot. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
It's so great. The action, like that torque, that's like, what do they call that? Not oh shit, I'm blanking on the word, but yeah, I mean, he's just loading up, and you feel
Yeah.
it. And God, good luck anyone else trying to do that to a bok choy. Me too. I mean, I know I like to do tough stuff, but I just love how that came out. Um, and I'll talk about Tidal Roar in a second, but I might get that Blackbirds for
Yeah.
sure. I think I need
Yeah.
to. That green visor. Although, I mean, the last one I got was a bird. It was the wild card, and it was also black with a red bill. But yeah, I don't know. I don't care. That's so cool. I love, yeah, I love the color. Uh, kind of that faint, it's got like a faint black outline in some parts, and then, like on the jacket. That's always that's the mental math that I have trouble with sometimes. Because you can see where the head doesn't have that double black outline because it's, you don't need it.
Yeah.
But the jacket has it, the feet has it, and it's a very nice. It's that again, that kind of that classic art style. A
Yeah, that
little bit of
80s
Disney.
mascot. Yeah.
Yeah, but I love that jacket and that simple beat. It's so nice, and that's gonna look really nice embroidered too. It's gonna have some nice shine to it with the black and the gray.
Yeah, and and if you really know Clink Room, like that's part two of his Red Wing Blackbird, and it's done
Oh,
in a
that's right.
total different style, but he took that character and he brought it over and gave it that 80s mascot love. It's just so good. You talked about bok choy and the motion of it. I think Phil's just a master of just filling the space. No,
Yeah.
didn't mean to do a pun there, but like just the left to right, he just has the space locked down, and just the
Hmm.
little like twerks and it just adding that little extra like kinetic energy like that. Bok choy is just ready to throw like the two
And I
seamer.
mean
Like, I don't know.
that logo is. I mean, I thought this was big. I
Yeah.
mean, that thing's going to be very
Oh,
impressive.
yeah. Especially embroidered with the different levels and the different textures. But
Yeah.
um yeah, this Tidal Roar thing is amazing too. Seamus, Michael, just a master of you speak about outline, like he rarely even draws with any outline. And the textures he's
Yeah.
able to layer on top, it's almost like stacking window panes.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a master at his craft. I love it anytime he releases something.
And again, like the detail there is like pushing it so far, but it's absolutely perfect. It's going to
Mhm.
embroider so well.
Yeah. And staying within like the
Yeah,
six color limit too. Like just the color play and the color choices is just
for
amazing.
sure. It's such a paint by numbers. I mean, it's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be amazing. Yeah, I love seeing these different styles, because I'm much more lean toward like the Blackbirds and bok choy style,
Yeah.
and that's like where I really live. But seeing guys like Seamus and who was the last guy, Win. I mean, their stuff is just so painterly and
Yeah.
um, landscapes, and I mean, it's really nice.
Exactly. All right. Well, there's a lot of choices for everyone here. Those 6 hats end in pre-order tonight at midnight. Get them before they hit production. So the last thing here we're going to cover before we get into the crits is the shock drop. So you mentioned style a couple times, and we seen Phil on
Hmm.
the last slide. This was their collaboration. So the founding electric. So they had the original one come out first, and then the X-ray version come out. So now you get both designs come back in a fresh colorway, shock dropped together. What are your thoughts here on this design?
I take back everything I say about Bones because that one is incredible.
Yeah,
Uh, I've always loved that hat,
yeah,
and to see it get like I mean, it's just they're much more, I don't know, classically popular, I guess. Having a black or navy, just something that's showcases the artwork, I guess, a little bit more. Um, Man, I mean, I love the new colorway. Um, I'd have to pull up the old one. What was the old one?
I can look
Was
it
it
up real
white?
quick. I can look it up real quick, but
Yeah.
keep talking.
Trying to think of.
I think the original
Yeah.
second one was just black and white, but the
Hmm.
original. Let me see. Found it. Yeah, just black. The original one. Oh no, it was like a navy, like a really dark
Hmm.
navy, and then it had
Yeah. Okay.
like it looks like a gold button, maybe for the key, kind of
Mm,
symbolizing the key.
yeah.
Such a good design.
Yeah. I like. So this is if you're getting, you have to get both. It's like a package
No,
deal.
no, they just both dropped at the same time.
Gotcha.
So they brought them back
Why
at the
wouldn't
same
you?
time. Yeah.
Oh, it's so cool. I mean, there's just so. I'm looking at the hands, like in the skeleton version, and like that's so insanely hard to do, but they did such a good job of portraying that.
Yeah. So like in the original, everything that glows is like the bones, the skull,
Hmm.
the outline around the key, so you can see the key. The key tells a story. So much of like Ben
Yeah.
Franklin discovering, or like coming up with a theory of electricity, and yeah, there's so much to it, man. That this is a can't miss for sure. But yeah, so that was the shock
Yeah. I
drop.
love the icy blue under too.
Yeah,
It's really nice.
they killed it. So yeah, Scanner series continues. I've been enjoying it, just seeing X-ray version and the original version come back, so you actually get to make the choice. So it's cool to have options. But all right, let's get
Yeah.
into the crits. So first up, we see Heather, the green one, come with the lucky hitter. What do you think here?
I like it. I like the color choices. Um, there's a lot more you can do with the embroidery there.
Mm-hmm.
So I expect that to look nice, and the like the bat's going to have a little bit of shine to it. Some of those kind of browner, bronzer, earth tones end up having like a good deal of shine to them. Um, yeah, and I like the orange outline is nice. Yeah, I mean that's a good one. Is that more like a batting helmet? Maybe I would make it more like a batting helmet. That would be my
Yeah, because
only
right now it looks like a hat.
critique
Yeah.
on that. Yeah, but it's like pretty round.
Hmm.
Like you could easily make that into a batting helmet. Maybe bring down that perspective a bit. Kind of make it a little bit tighter on the head. But yeah, I like it.
Yeah. It's good timing too. I think St. Patrick's Day is coming up too, so you might see
Mm-hmm.
some stuff
What's
coming
that
there.
on? It's like 2 days
I
from
think
now.
it's 17th, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So probably
Usually.
the time of airing. Hopefully people had started celebrating too early and can watch this. But yeah,
Oh
definitely
man,
a
of
cool one.
course.
And yeah, to see her kind of evolution as an artist too, I feel like she's getting bolder, and there's just so much personality with the face here, and kind of more confident with the art. That's an awesome thing to see. Um,
Yeah, the personality. I really like how that looks because it has a certain style, but
yeah,
it's not just a copy of it.
yeah. I almost would consider getting rid of the shadow, or at least making it
Like
less bold. Yeah,
the
the
black.
shadow underneath. Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
Almost like if it doesn't
Yeah,
add to it
you could
specifically,
get away
you
with
can.
less. Yeah,
Yeah, but
yeah. It'd be
overall,
cool to drop that black, and then you could still have the orange like be that large
yeah,
shadow if you really wanted to, or you
yeah,
could shrink it down a little bit. But I think that orange could act as the shadow.
yeah, yeah, for sure. All right, good work, Heather. Moving forward, we got Emerald Isle by Flanagan.
Oof, so nice.
Yeah. So
That's
he
amazing.
posted a bunch of Irish themed stuff leading up to St. Patrick's Day as well. So it looks like this one made it to Critz. So Flanagan. This
I
one's
mean,
so good.
just the shape that it's housed within, the color choices. Yeah, and it's one of those, I don't, not that I don't like it, but I appreciate maybe a little bit more when, a concept like this fits into like a St. Patrick's
Yeah.
motif, but it's not just like, I mean, Heather's was awesome. I mean, I would love to kick out a version of that on my own. But
Mhm.
when, you do something that's a little bit more, uh, I don't know, it's not as obvious, but it just fits in so well with the whole concept.
Yeah.
Like you can
Yeah.
tell that's not that's not the United States, or you can
Yeah.
tell that Europe.
Yeah. He nailed this one. It's got the hair
Yeah,
too.
yeah, that
Those
bracket
don't know.
is, yeah.
Yeah. It's like gold and tan. And for those who
Oof,
don't know,
yeah.
Emerald Isle is the nickname for Ireland.
Mhm. Yeah, that gold around it is going to be incredible. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's such a nice take on, like I said, something that you could cheapen a little bit with, already obvious ideas, but this is incredible.
Exactly. All right. Good stuff, Flanagan. Let's see. Number 3. We got Quick Buck. Oh, Seamus is
Oof.
continuing his money series. I believe this is like the third or fourth one, but this one, uh, amazing.
With
He's
the
got that little call
CR
out too,
hidden
the
in there.
CR. Yeah, the CR
Yeah.
with the I don't even know what the code or whatever they use or the
Yeah,
um
it's like the,
serial number. That's what I was
oh,
thinking of.
oh yeah, serial number,
Yeah,
sort code. Yeah, I don't know what you would call it.
yeah.
That's
It's just
just amazing.
he nailed this one. The origami series is amazing. Um, yeah, he's just such a
Yeah,
talented artist, and I bet you if you unfold it, it's gonna be anatomically correct too.
right.
Yeah, his
Yeah,
first one
even,
just
I mean, the
just shipped.
having no outline is, oh, that's so nice.
Yeah, his
Because I
first
would
money
I would
one,
probably try to ruin it with an outline.
his first money one just shipped too, and I gotta say, the thing in preorders crazy.
Holy
Look at that,
shit.
just having no outline. The first one has a CR as well too, so CR,
Yeah, yeah. Dude, that's
yeah,
insane.
dude is a
That is
monster.
so nice. Is
He's a
that
monster.
100?
Uh, yeah, 100,
I think it's a
100.
$100 bill. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh my god. That is so
he's
cool.
the dude is a
What a
monster, man.
freaking puzzle to put together. It's awesome.
Yeah. When I first saw his cash cow, I was kicking myself because I'd always forever wanted to do one um, in that style, and we could never synchronize with it. But
Mhm.
I'm gonna right that wrong eventually. So we got something in the
Yeah,
works.
there's time.
But yeah, he's a beast, man. Seamus, um, quick buck. All right, number 4, Majestic Run.
Whew.
Raphael is back. Oof, he's got the Marlin. Um, Jumping out the water in a cool kind of seascape, and it's flowing out of the circle, which is cool to kind of see. He's kind of like um, the animal in shapes kind of guy,
Mhm.
and he's back with another
Yeah.
solid one, man. Like, so it's cool.
Animals out of circles.
Yeah,
You can't get enough of them. Yeah, I mean, this is it is so hard to do that much detail and then picking the highlights.
the lighting is elite.
Yeah, just, because you read everything so well, just
Hmm.
visually, but the approach to this, because you can see what is it, uh, the flipper, like let's call it bottom side, and you can still see that from the other side, and then the top side, is kind of highlighted right there in the middle, kind of like right on the water line.
Yeah,
how it just comes off and the perspective of it. It's amazing. I love the colors. That lavender and it's kind of like an almost like green or like khaki.
That's like a Vegas green.
Yeah. Oh man, it's the color choices like really, really set it off too.
Yeah, he did a great job.
His are always just like, it's like, how do you make them so ornate?
I just think he nailed the essence of the fish. Just look at his the likeness. He just killed it, man.
Yeah,
a good one. Yeah, it is getting broader like crazy too, because with the fish being super raised,
it's
and
gonna
the
be
back probably has some textures. Yeah, they're gonna do a great job on this one. All right, moving forward. Classic breakfast. Sierra gone. Bacon, eggs,
and toast, baby. That is, I love it. I don't love the crown choice, crown and visor combo, but the art is great.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's like a specific choice other than just, having it be, a little bit more standing out. But, why the blue? Why I guess that's like a burgundy.
Yeah, almost like a maroon.
I like that. I like that look though. I can think of some like hats you guys have come out with that have been like that lighter blue with the burgundy.
Yeah,
that's a tough thing to juxtapose, given other colors in there. I mean, if this went through, all it would need, from my perspective, would be like just some different color choices on the base, but the art's great. Because I think you could do so much with the bacon, so much with the bread, and it could be just as eye-catching as just about anything. Yeah, you could. I mean, you could have like some little swirly, even in that egg white, you could have just just some little detail of how the stitching and bubbles and kind of swirls, and that it's not gonna rock flat like that. I guarantee it. So yeah, I expect this to go through like some color changes, but like I think the potential there for an end result is incredible.
Definitely, I think he nailed it.
Why is the toast angry? I guess he has to be. So everybody else is kind of happy and chill, and he's like taking a different.
Yeah,
maybe he knows that half the people aren't going to eat him anyway.
Yeah, I mean the main event's always going to be the bacon. Yeah, the bacon.
Yeah,
3, right? Everyone grabs bacon first, but killed it. Good job, Sierra. All right, Lucha Bunny, dopest robot is back. Awesome, and Lane, the Lucha Bunny. This one's cool.
Yeah, I like the line work. Just a nitpicky comment. Speaking of, like how the ears aren't outlined in black, but then that little part in the face is.
Yeah,
I think it would add, just like cutting that out. Would add that just that angular depth of kind of where that mask meets the fur. But I love the concept, because I guarantee you can put a lucha mask on tons of animals and it would look awesome.
Oh yeah.
So this must be like an Easter, like kind of an Easter hook, I would guess.
Yeah. It's got the pastel colors, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I do like the symmetry of the mask, but with the way the ears play out, it makes the design really tall. So maybe I'd even think about potentially just angling it towards the side of the bent ear, just so that you can get more of the design. But yeah, I think this was really good.
I'd love to, kind of like what was the So sorry for forgetting whoever did this, but the rabbit that was on the bike was the bunny hop.
Oh yes, yes. I think it was Jason V.
Yeah.
I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'd love to see like, a full figure as a lucha with the
Oh, that'd be
lucha
cool.
outfit with
Yeah.
the rabbit, as. But then it might take away from kind of the Easter kind of side of the messaging. I don't know, but yeah, I agree. Yeah, because that's the struggle of trying to have something that's gonna fit in such a tall scale, and you know, kind of hampers you a little bit on detail and some of the things you can do.
Yeah.
Wider is definitely better, typically.
Exactly. All right. Let's see what 7 brings. Oop, hair of dog. So another
That's so
Flanagan
cool.
Irish classic.
Yeah, this is great. Some of the perspective is a little funny for me, but I mean, because it's a dog, like probably sitting in not a very dog way. The only thing is like maybe would be like reworking that hand up here, but I guess he's dropping hair into. I see it now. Oh my
And he's dropping his hair
god,
into the
he's dropping
alcohol.
hair into the beer. Okay. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I like how they kind of did this wolfhound like style where he's got like the big mustache, you know, burly hair, because it's very indicative of that type of dog, a scruffy
Yeah,
dog like
like
that.
a terrier. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's cool. And then like that saying,
yeah,
the hair of the dog, like that's the usage of like drinking more the next day so you don't get
yeah.
hungover.
I'm not one of those people. I can't do hair
No,
of the dog typically.
no.
Um, I mean, I like it. Just maybe like even that hat is maybe just needs like just a like another pass. There's maybe something you could take away from there, and it would still look like kind of that newsboy looking
Yeah,
uh,
for sure.
peaky
Peaky
blinders.
Blinders. Yeah, yeah, for sure. All right, cool. Getting to the end here. Icebreaker, Aurelian, and a Dizzle with the chopping penguin. What do you think here?
um, it's so cool, as because again, I would put an outline around this, but
Mhm.
how this is made up, I mean, it doesn't need all of that,
Yeah,
and like having the depth, that little tie of the head wrap with one of the straps kind of floating off in the distance, just blacked out, um, and then just how the ice is portrayed, and it's just so nice.
yeah.
It's
Kind of angry
very much
birdish
less
too.
is more. Yeah, and yeah, and how it's just like three little circles, and then just cutting it out from the top. I mean, it's just so simplistic on the form, and consistent in that way that yeah, it looks so good. I
Yeah, for sure.
might
All
want
right.
to see it on like a solid blue, light blue hat, maybe. But
Ooh,
if I had to say something about it,
yeah.
yeah, the
It's not
whole
much to
hat would
nitpick.
be
It's a great design. Yeah.
yeah, and maybe yeah, like the button could stay there, and the under could be, I don't know, let's scare people and make it white, or flip that blue, flip that royal blue under to the under.
Yeah. This is flawless, man. They nailed it. All right.
So that's yeah,
Second
that's so
mass.
cool.
Ooh, Fallen Titan. It's almost like um a Doom hook almost, but yeah, Fallen Titan by
Yeah,
Milosh. This one's sick.
it's just that so many of these submissions are just so stellar.
Mhm.
it's hard to see these many that are, you know, just absolutely incredible come up against each other in a week. But of course,
Yeah, it's
some
gonna
of
be
them live on,
hard to
which I'd
make it,
love to
right?
see. Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be
Um,
hard to make it.
but yeah, how this, you know, you can see the scale. The scale's perfect, you know, for how huge it is, and then the trees coming off of it. It's really, really nice. It's hard. It's very difficult. It's more difficult than you realize to make trees like that not look so, you know,
Cookie cutter.
like
Yeah,
construction paper cutouts,
yeah,
which could be a cool idea in of itself. But for this purpose, yeah, it's so nice. You know, again, less is more, and I love that little uh, peak, like the crown, that little notch where it cuts into the trees, and you know,
yeah.
still is like the most present piece, you know, on the hat. So it kind of defies that, I guess, the logic of, you know, what's happening up there with the shadows and whatnot.
I
I
love
don't
the
know. I'm
colorway
getting way
too.
into it. Yeah,
I love the
even the
colorway
interior
too,
of
like
that
the
helmet
stone.
with like the mossiness
Yeah,
inside the helmet. It's so nice.
it's kind of almost like
Really
like
cool.
that money colorway too. It's like this dirty white stone color with the different hues of green, and yeah, he
Yeah.
nailed this one, man. And just to pay homage to such a legend too. Yeah, great job, Milos. And then last but not least, oh, we're gonna save the best for last. The Harshmellow, Josh Foles, just taking his take on the campfire, you know, staple, the marshmallow s'more zombie
Yeah.
thing.
I
I don't
like
know. There's so
them.
much to it,
I like
man.
them absolutely burnt and
You
boiling
do.
in the middle, you know? Yeah,
Uh
I'm one of those people.
crispy
Texture,
crust. Yeah.
yeah. Oh, I love it. Um, but this is just and I'm glad they're releasing you know, putting this up for crits now because you can get it in time for
For Halloween, hopefully.
camping
Yeah.
season. Yeah,
Yeah.
and Halloween. But yeah, oh, it's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
It
mean,
lets you
this
get the
is
sneaky two-tone
what
too
I'm
with the
doing
two
right
different
now.
browns.
Yeah, yeah, what I'm doing right now is like the goal of I'm just like cracking up. I can't stop laughing at this in the best possible way. Like this is like what I want to do with my work, you know, have
Mhm.
this appreciation reaction. But yeah, that twig is it's nice.
Yeah.
They didn't even
Just
sleep,
so much
you know, having the
personality.
marshmallow kind of like up on. So we've all had that little woody bite of marshmallow by
Yeah.
mistake.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But I really like the detail with that, and then the underside. I believe, you know, it's the kind of that molten middle that's like melting out of the bottom.
Oh,
Yeah, that's just so cool.
he nailed this one, man. Yeah, it might feel early for this one, but by the time it gets here, I think it should be good time, man.
Yeah, give us
You're
a
thinking
white
ahead,
button,
man.
you know, for the marshmallow. That's the
Ooh,
only critique I would have on this is like a little marshmallowy white button.
yeah. I like how the white's not even white though. It's like this ivory, almost chrome
Mm,
off white. It
yeah,
just nailed it.
one of those hats. One of those hats I did in the past, the Pretenders P. It was like that wool white, that natural white,
Yeah,
and it just, you know, it looks so much different from that bright white.
yeah,
Um, it's just such a nice difference and distinction. But yeah,
exactly.
that
But
one
that
that was a good one to end on.
hell yeah, hell yeah. That was a good time, man. You're very gracious with lending your time, and can't thank you enough for jumping back in here and kind of giving the clinkers and the clink fans a chance to kind of uh, be reintroduced to you, you know, and hopefully you'll
Yeah,
start submitting again and get some more into the clink files. But I've long been a huge fan of your work, and as a person too, man. You're just a long supporter of the stuff I've done, so I can't thank you enough.
yeah. Cheers, man. Yeah, we go way back. We go way back. Like three
Way
years
back,
now, 4 years now,
3, 4, it's
almost.
got to be. Yeah,
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 it's always good to come on here and, you know, get back into focusing on hats, and you know, especially being with someone like you who, you know, treats it in such a professional and approachable way. Love it. Love to be a part of it. So thanks.
All right. Well, again, thanks for doing this, and everyone, make sure you guys give Kurt W a follow at Kurt Player on his Instagram and all his different endeavors. For Leon and Kurt, we're out of here. Peace.
Yep. Cheers.
We can't? Oh, well, anyway. Back to the shell. Mix together masa, water, and salt to create a dough.
Brought to you by VFTV.